Hello everybody! How are we all doing this evening? My first live stream in quite a while. As ever, we're gonna give everybody a few minutes to get in, then we will get started proper. So we have the first live stream today with the new microphone setup and everything, which is, among other things, much louder than the normal one. So hopefully that means that everybody should be able to hear me nicely and clearly. So if those currently watching could let me know that that's happening, that would be great. And then we will get cracking. Getting back into the groove again. It's very nice to be back with you all. I'm very sorry that it's actually taken a little while to do one of these. The hope was that I would be doing one every month, but yeah, it's just not gone that way. It's been rather busy. Some static going on. Let me see. Audio clipping. The audio clipping. Okay, all right. I can knock that down a bit. That's easy to do. See, it's this new little setup here. Right, I'm going to knock it down by about 3 dB. There we go. Okay, that should take the edge off. So, yeah, it's this new little setup that I have. It's good in some ways, and not so good in others. It's really clever, really trick. I mean, the whole setup is tiny. Still clipping a little bit. Not an awful lot more I can do about it. We shall see. It could well be the stream sorting itself out. These things can happen, so just let me know. Occasionally the streams do come through a little bit duff on certain connections, but I'm looking at the level here and it's definitely not clipping now. So anyway, we'll just continue and hope it'll sort out for everybody. Okay, so questions as we have them all. All right, let's start up. So Hannon 1066 talks about used car prices. Have they been going up recently? Actually, I think they rather have. I've been looking at the market as I sort of always do. I mean, I'm window shopping forever, and a lot of prices seem to be a bit stronger than I remember them being sort of this time last year, which is very odd as we are about to head into winter. So historically sports car prices and things would be going down. I know my neighbour's looking at an R8 and he shared a link with me today, and I looked at the car and the price and I thought, crikey, that's a lot. And the advert even cheekily said, "We're not negotiating, this is the price." Like, okay, I don't really like adverts. Don't like adverts like that, but yeah, so all right. Will asks an interesting question, which is, he says that I've got a love-hate relationship with the E46 M3, which is very true. Do you think I could get a go in an E46 M3 CSL, and would it be worth the extra cash? Well, good question. Can I get a go in one? Who knows? Don't know. I'd need somebody with one to offer me a go. That hasn't happened yet. But I don't see how it could possibly be worth the extra cash, for the simple reason it's one of those really odd cars, a little bit like the Ferrari Chana Stradale 360, that when it came out, I mean, what was a regular E46 M3? Like 40 grand, and the CSL was like 60 grand. And the general consensus was that, yeah, if you want just a serious track day tool, the CSL is definitely the better car. But if you're spending 60 grand on a track day car, there are way better things to do it in than an M3. And most of the reviews at the time actually seem to say, yeah, the CSL is great, but not really worth the sort of 50% more than the regular car. And nowadays they're like, what, 5 or 6 times the price of a regular E46 M3? So I don't know. I'm sure they're great, but worth the extra, worth 60 grand? Nah, sorry. Ian wants to know, are Porsche prices on the way up or down? I think they are generally going down. They've definitely stabilised over the last sort of couple of years. I mean, they were just doing mad things sort of 2-3 years ago. And yeah, there's, yeah, I don't know, that's what they're going to do. So, okie dokie, bunch of questions coming through. Okie dokie. So, what do I think of the Maserati MC20? Mr. JWW's involvement in it. Well, I mean, good on James. Good on him. I had a good chat with him in Italy a few weeks ago. He did mention that. Well, actually, he did tell me he was going to go and do something with Maserati. I suspect that might have had something to do with it. He had no idea who I was, none whatsoever, which was funny. Yeah, a nice enough guy. Well done to him. I saw his bit about, you know, having a speech impediment and whatnot when he was a kid, and you know, that's really cool, really inspirational. I would like to see him talk more about that, because I think as influencers, or whatever the hell you want to call us, it's a really good platform to use to try and do positive things as much as we can. And I think the whole sort of churn of unattainable stuff that is in a lot of cases just a fiction isn't particularly healthy. So using the platform to do something good for people actually would be a nice thing to do. But yeah, them using him for the launch, I don't see why not. Mercedes used Tim Schmee for the release of their SL, whatever it is, or GT Black Series. I didn't think the piece they did was particularly good. I felt like he hadn't been given proper direction. I mean, that's from like a filmmaker's perspective. I didn't think it was particularly on brand, but from his perspective, like that's a seriously cool thing to be involved in. The actual car itself, the MC20, I don't really know what to think of the car. It sounds awful. The pictures I've seen so far, it looks incredibly generic. Like it's like somebody draw me a basic supercar that we can rehash into anything we want, and I'm just like, oh, really? That's it, Maserati? Hopefully it'll be mega to drive. I mean, I don't know. I probably won't get to drive it, but who knows? Okie dokie. All right. So, what would my late 90s car recommendation be to purchase before prices rocket? Is it a late 90s? But my go-to thing for the one to buy, Mark 1 Focus RS. That's what I would get. I would get that, keep it in a bubble, keep it well maintained. Yeah, that's what I would go for. Okay. Teletubby wants to know what camera I'm using. Panasonic GH5. Okie dokie. And Nick wants to know, have I lost some weight? Unfortunately not. Only in the battery department, apparently. Okay. Survey wants to buy a new car. He's traveling 100 miles 4 times a week. Any recommendations? His budget's under £200 a month. You know what? If people can help Survey out on that one, sort of cheap lease cars, I would probably, if you're going to be doing 100 miles 4 times a week, you want something kind of comfortable. So I try and get something larger if you can. So I wouldn't be looking at sort of, you know, a city car, you know, like Kia Picanto type size. I'd be looking at something a little bit larger, you know, Golf size if you can get in something like that. That's what I would be trying to aim for, or potentially, I guess, crossover if you really have to do that sort of thing. But a decent sized hatchback or a small entry level saloon would be quite good. Pretty sure there's probably some tasty deals to be done on, like, you know, BMW 220Ds, that sort of thing. Get an SE, like get a lower, don't get a sporty one because it won't be very comfortable if you do. So yeah. Okay, Ian likes my review of the Astra GT. Thank you very much, Ian. Okay, right. What do I think of the Megane RS? I have driven most of them, and they are quite good. The one I prefer, the one I like by far the most, is the most recent one. Jack wants to know if I think the TVR are still going to release their new Griffith. Doubt it. Really doubt it. With every passing day, it seems increasingly unlikely to me. Okie dokie. So, what else we got here? So, Tommy has a good question. He says, do I think electric sporty cars will ever be as fun as, say, like a Boxster or something like that? Or will they merely be very capable? No, I'm pretty sure they will be. I'm pretty sure they will be engaging and exciting. I have no doubt. I have no doubt. I actually thought the Tesla Model 3 was quite fun to pilot. You know, a lot of, and let's be honest here, a lot of modern sort of sports cars, they sound god-awful anyway, and the engines are getting a bit rubbish because of all the emissions regs. So actually, probably going forward, you're going to find that electric cars are going to be the much more exciting ones to drive. So there you go. Justin, 10K investment car, see previous answer. Do I think? Oh, Peter sent me some cash. Thank you, Peter, because I'm running low on Pepsi Max. Look at that. That's the last of the stocks. It's been a pretty lean month this month. There's an advertiser hasn't paid me. They are a month overdue on paying their bill. which is not BOTB, by the way. They're always excellent, pay their bills on time, and they're lovely people. Okay. Sound is crackling. Let me see, is there anything I do about it? Just in case it's this rustling, if I hold that like that, is that fixing the sound? Because otherwise I can pause for a little bit and try and find something, or I can just put a put the mic on something, because it might be that it's just rustling against the shirt, which is always a possibility. As you all know, I like to keep my technical standards fairly high, but this is the first time I'm doing this this particular setup. There we go. Let's knock that down. Just another dB for you. Always a joy. Always a joy. Audio better now. Does everybody think the audio is better like that? Because what I can do is I can just a lot better. Okay, in that case, we know what the problem is. In that case, hold fire for 30 seconds, and I will change into my uniform. I'll change into my workwear, and that should fix the problem. And then so keep asking questions, and I'll be with you in just a moment. Ta-da! And I'm back. Hopefully that improves the problem. I've taken the fluffy off, so this is now properly isolated, and I'm in, you know, safety attire. So that should sort everything. Thank you all for being very patient. Okay. Right. Alright, yeah, okay, if Mike says it's the one of the cables failing, then that's always possible. Yeah, I will diagnose it later, so I do apologise for that. His equipment is always a pain in the backside. Okie dokie, so let's carry on, shall we? And do as best as we can. Best sounding road car, Ferrari 355. Do I still ride motorbikes? Not really. Will my granddad, my Irish one who's on the channel previously, be coming on the channel anytime soon? Maybe. Maybe. I did see him the other week, potentially. Would I consider travelling back to the continent to feature some more unusual cars? I actually had a couple of big trips planned. One for the Netherlands, one for Japan. And I was really hoping both of those were going to work. Both got cancelled. So yeah, that's a shame. Okay, so am I a fan of classic cars? Generally speaking, yes, I am. Okay, is a Lancia Delta Integrale review coming out? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I filmed a review with an Integrale. The issue, there was a problem with it, and a lot of people twigged it because I had mentioned it in the review of the Focus Escort RS Cosy. And basically what happened was the Integrale was part of this large collection owned by our friend Ben, and we took the Integrale out and we're driving along, and this van came round the corner, basically taking like a foot over the white line. I kind of moved to avoid him, put my foot on the brake, and the car just darted off to the side. Nothing happened. we thought, I just thought maybe the car just grabbed a bit of camber or a drain or something like that. Anyway, so we carried on, and then I went to brake again. Same thing, car was just darting left every time I went to brake. So I thought it might have been a sticking caliper or something like that. Tried to see if it would free up, but wasn't having it. So yeah, we took the car back to Ben. He took it out, and when he took it out, the brakes failed completely. So that review had to be aborted. But it's on my calendar to film. We'll be doing that very soon. And it's going to be released as a week of stuff with, there's an Escort RS2000. There's also an Audi Quattro 20 valve. There'll be the Integrale and an Evo 6 Tommy Mac, all in the same week. So it's my week of road-going rally cars. That's going to come out soon. What's the car I thought was most terrifying to drive? Good question, that. Could well be... oh, I wonder. So I'm just looking. I'm still working out this audio thing, and I just realised that I've got this new wireless setup, and it's sat next to my speaker. Although the speaker's currently unpowered, so the speakers are a massive magnet. So yeah, where was I? Somebody tell me where I was. Anyway, okay. So what do we got here? Oh, Audi R8 V10 Plus versus Nissan GTR 2018 for daily use and track. If you need to carry stuff, GTR. If you don't, the R8. That's what I go for. Which car did I think was most terrifying to drive? That would be probably the 600 brake horsepower Evo 10, or maybe a Caterham when it's wet. They're not very much fun. Yeah. Mercedes 320 SLK Future Classic, no. Favourite hatchback and why? Actually, you know, I did really like the Golf Club Sport S. That was a riot. I wasn't expecting it to be that entertaining to drive. I thought it was going to be a bit anodyne, a bit dull. It wasn't. The only thing with it is, because you've got no back seats at all, it does lose an air of practicality, which sort of defeats the point of a hatchback. Really enjoyed the i30N. Really enjoyed that. Civic Type R is great as well. Obviously, looks a bit bananas though. So yeah. Do I like the Ford Bronco? I haven't really given it much thought, to be honest. Favourite Lotus Exige, S1, S2, S3, S3. S3. Okay. Oh no, the cheapest RS Focus is about 14 grand, so that's 4k above Justin's £10,000 budget. Oh, that's tricky. Okay, Castro sent me a fiver, so thank you very much. That goes straight in the Pepsi Max Fund. Really appreciate it. What are my thoughts on the CLK 55 AMG, and would I be interested in reviewing yours? Yes, I would. I reviewed a C55, so I would probably advise you check out that review to get my thoughts on that particular car. I expect your CLK would be quite a similar thing. I think the CLK is one of the best looking Mercs that there have been, and I actually did consider one as a daily driver for a little bit. Okay. Alex asks, do I have a car-related job? Yes. Car YouTuber. Will the F-Pace SVR be making an appearance? So I had booked one of those with JLR as a hire car. I'm trying to rearrange that. That's the aim. Trying to get that sorted, but it's being tricky. JLR aren't being very easy to get a hold of. I may phone them next week. To be fair, I've been very busy myself doing various things, so I've not been too worried about it. But yeah, maybe over winter as sort of things dry up. You know, I'm not really going to be reviewing too many of people's cars generally over winter, so that's when I tend to do more manufacturer stuff or more intensely. So yeah. Oh, interesting one from Tobor. What's my opinion on YouTubers doing car? He said ruffles, but I assume you mean raffles. Yeah, it's an interesting one. it varies YouTuber to YouTuber. I don't particularly wish to cast aspersions on any of my sort of fellow YouTubers in a public environment. I think as long as people sort of go into it, with reasonable expectations, it's not a bad thing. I personally think it's a bit of a shame. I would hate to sort of just have a car in the driveway for a month or so and then flog it and do it. I want to really probably use it and enjoy it, and I can't help but wonder that a lot of the people winning these cars are not keeping them. They're just selling them themselves, which it seems a little sad to me. Okay. Do I think the E92 325i is worth holding on to? Yeah, it could be. It's a good car. I don't think you're ever going to make money out of it, but yeah, it's a decent car. Am I planning to review the new A45? I would if I could. Would I ever do a video on the Ford Racing Puma or the regular Ford Puma? In actual fact, I have already filmed a review on the Racing Puma, and that is coming out next Saturday. Hello. Hello, cat. Are you trying to get in the live stream? You are. Okay. Yeah, Florence, you are a fame whore. You really are. Okay. Who's the artist that did the Star Wars painting behind me? Leia. Dave Dubstyle, apparently is the guy's name. New or old DBS? Old, definitely. Do I have any tyre recommendations for both road and track use? I used to use just Yokohama V105s on my M3. They aren't even like super sticky, but if you're not going to be worried about using the car in winter, Yokohama AD08Rs are pretty good. Michelin Pilot Sport 4S, they're excellent, really great all-round tyre. Yeah. Feel the Drive, hello guys. CR Classics, what Lotus would I like to film that I haven't already? Oh, my, easy. Giugiaro Turbo Esprit, still a dream car, still an absolute dream car. Michael wants to know about the shirts and that they have a story behind them. So there's a video on that specific topic. So just search on YouTube like JayEmm shirts, and you will find it. That video is out there. Okay, so is there a chance I could revisit the Ferrari 345 versus Evora 400 with the traction control turn off for accurate handling comparison? I mean, I got a fairly accurate handling comparison anyway. I mean, the Ferrari doesn't have traction control anyway. So yeah, maybe it was one of the first videos I ever did. It was like my third or fourth video or something silly like that, and it was not a very good video, at all. So yeah, I have, however, just filmed another 355 video, and obviously I recently also did a Evora 400 video. So both cars are coming out just separately this year. Any thoughts on reviewing the Golf GTI Mark V? Yes, a mate of mine has got one, and he's offered it to me, and I do mean to take him up on it. Any thoughts on the Lancia Tamer 832? No, but a chap I know is importing one. He said I can have a go of it when it arrives. So, yeah. Okay, so Alex asks an interesting question, actually. So he's just watched Aston Week and wants to know, when I meet owners, like, there's people that have stuff like the V12 Vantage and so on, are they cars only for the super rich? Are they part of a huge collection or something like that? And did I buy my 550 to lose no money barring servicing it? No, I bought my 550 because I wanted one. And the truth is that until you sell a car, you never know how much money you have or haven't lost. But I intend to keep the 550 for a very long time, which means it's likely to cost me a lot of money. No, I bought it because I wanted it. Actually, a lot of the people that have these cars, I mean, for example, Andrew, the guy that has the DB6 and the DB9, you would think anybody with a DB9 and a DB6 is like some super wealthy guy, and he's got a garage full of things like this. Well, no, his garage was full of a DB9 and a DB6. That was it. But he got lucky with the DB6. He bought it at the right time, when prices weren't crazy. And he's used it, he's enjoyed it, And the DB9 was just basically a sort of a treat, I suppose you could call it, to himself after many years of hard work and saving. A lot of people are not running these cars on unlimited budgets at all. For a lot of people, something like an Aston is the one car, it's the special car. Same for a Lotus, same with McLaren. A lot of McLaren owners, they're not super wealthy people. Those people do exist. There are guys out there that have, half a dozen of these things. But an awful lot of people also out there buying and running them on pretty modest budgets, really. So there. Hopefully that answers it. George wants to know if he should get an Aurora Sport 410 or spend the extra for a GT 410. I'd probably spend the extra, and get the more updated GT, actually. Do I like the new Aston Martin DBX? It's a car it's difficult for me to get excited about, if I'm entirely honest. Have I ever driven a Porsche 944? Yes, I have. And that video will be out later in the year. I don't know exactly when, but yes, I have driven it and I liked it. Really enjoyed it. Same answer really for the M2 Comp, which is going to come out much sooner. That's going to be out in the next week or two. I got to drive one of those. What the hell is it? Daddy Longlegs. Being invaded here. It's going to turn the lights on so you guys can enjoy the pretty pictures and evidently substandard audio. Okay. And there was a question there from a gentleman in Brisbane, Australia. Hello, Aaron. He's weighing up between an Alpine A110 and the new Lotus Elise. The question to ask yourself would be this, Aaron. Are you going to buy the car just for sort of pure driving? Or are you also going to want to take it away and drive it 2 places? Because if you're going to want to do that, get the Alpine. However, if it's just raw driving, going out for an hour, hour and a half, that sort of thing, having a blast, Lotus all the way. Have I driven a Volvo S60R? No, I haven't. Do I think the Honda Type R's in the 1990s and early 2000s are overpriced? Not really. There is a lot of Japanese metal that is like silly money, but the Type R's by comparison are pretty reasonable. I actually did an Integra DC2 Type R review the other day. Another car I've been trying to get forever. Okay. Right. My thoughts on the new T50, the Gordon Murray's thing, styling. The rear end. The rear end's actually all right. It's a slightly plain looking car. I have to be honest. For £2 and a bit million, it is slightly plain. Okay. All right. This is a good question from Kazra. Would I ever like to be a host on Top Gear? This is actually something that I've been asked quite a few times by people. The problem is, if Top Gear phoned me up today and said, James, do you want to come and host? Do you want to come and work with Chris and whatever? I'm not sure I actually would say yes, because the problem is that I've invested so much time and effort into this. When you then work for the BBC, you have to put all of this on hold. This all gets paused. And there's no guarantee. You could then go and do one episode for the BBC and they go, actually, we don't like you. But you're still under contract with them, so you're stuck. You can't make your own stuff, and you're working for them, and you've got to just keep on just sitting at home with the world forgetting about you. And that wouldn't be a situation I'd want to be in. And so, quite frankly, I'd probably, to make it worth the risk, I'd probably ask them for so much money that they wouldn't hire me anyway. So that's yeah, that's that. Okay. When am I going to do the Chiron and Veyron? When, Michael, indeed. When, indeed. Okay, so of all the modern 90s JDM iconic cars, the GTR Supra NSX, which is my favourite? Actually, Celica GT4 aside, because I think I'm biased on that one, it's the RX-7, because I thought that was an absolute riot to drive. The Supra I thought wasn't a bad car, but the GTRs, I mean, there is always space in my dream garage for a Bayside Blue R34 GTR. One day I hope to get to drive one, even if it's rubbish. there's still place for one in my dream garage. That's just how dream cars work, am I right? Like, sometimes it doesn't matter what they're actually like to drive. It's about what they mean to you. Is there any possibility for modifying electric steering for better feel? I don't know, but yeah, I hope so. Okay. Oh, yeah. Favorite Top Gear episode? Oh, you know what? I caught it again the other day on TV. It's not actually a great episode, but it's got one of the best moments in it. The episode where they build campers, and Clarkson has those, a Citroen, I think, isn't it? Is it a Citroen BX or something? With the ridiculous structure on top of it, and it's swaying about, and James May is behind him in the Lotus XL, just absolutely falling apart. That, I think, is one of the most honest laughs. He's just lost control, like all complete control. That's yeah, that's so funny. Okay. Oh, do I prefer the V8 Vantage or 997 Carrera S to drive? Ooh, that's a good one. 997's got the better steering. I think for a quick blast, the 911, but for any sort of longer journey, the Vantage, because it's just gorgeous. I love it. Stop scene stealing. Away with you, sir. Good day, sir. Sorry about that. Okay. Simon says he met me at the Pig and Whistle pub in Newcastle. I'm afraid that wasn't me, Simon, that would have blanked you. If it was, the reason that I would have blanked you is because I cannot remember being in the Pig and Whistle. So you were probably hassling James Corden, or according to some other comments, Nick Frost, or that bloke what was off Top Gear for the first series before James May appeared. Or was it Richard Hammond? No, it was James May, wasn't it? Jason Dorr, anyway, is the guy. So yeah. Oh, New Defender or the Jimny? Okay, so here's a good question from Johnny Bravo. With all the reviews I've already got filmed, and there are something like 30 plus videos I've got filmed that I haven't released, how come I don't upload them more regularly? Shmee films all over the world and seems to put reviews videos out most days. Well, you probably haven't noticed, but over the last few months, things in the world haven't been quite going according to plan. Now, a long time ago, I made the decision that I always wanted to have a buffer on the channel. Now, the original reason for this was because the channel was so small that I had no idea when I could actually film content. Then as the channel got larger, it turned into a case of, well, what happens if for some reason I'm simply unable to film content for a few weeks? What if I'm ill? Or what if we have snow? Because let's face it, it takes about 3 inches of snow to cripple the southern half of the United Kingdom. Sorry about that. You know, any number of things could happen. Or what if I want to go on holiday? All that sort of stuff. So I basically started sort of building myself up a buffer. So I'm working on a few different things. Now, December, for example, December is a special case because in December, YouTube pays you a lot more money than normal. So everything else being equal, ad revenue for us YouTubers is about 25% higher in December. That's pretty good. So what I like to do is in December, I don't expect to be able to film much content. Same for January. But I want to benefit from those higher revenue rates. It's a great way of me earning more without inconveniencing you guys. So if I can sort of do a double whammy, you know, have plenty of content come out in December and then obviously get extra revenue for it as well, it works out really well. It worked out great last Christmas, and I'm hoping to do the same thing again. So I'm sort of planning ahead. The idea being as well that, you know, come December, I fancy sort of disappearing off to Scotland or something for a couple of weeks. So that means I can do that. And plotting ahead means I can do things like creating these weeks, themed weeks of content. So the videos can sort of make a bit of sense. So I can sort of link stuff together, which I think makes it more entertaining for people. So we had like the Aston week, for example. But yeah, the simple reason for it is that when stuff goes completely wrong, if you are just releasing as you go along, which is what a lot of the big guys do, when the stuff hits the fan, you're in trouble. So you probably noticed when lockdown hit, a lot of car YouTubers just stopped releasing content, and I didn't because I'd already been filming stuff. So yeah, so that's why. Okay. All right. So where we see. Okay. If I was going to buy a sensible 80s car, what would it be? I do keep thinking about Quattros. I know they're not especially sensible, but I do quite like them. Actually, would also quite like another Lotus XL. Yeah, or 944. 944 would be a good shout, although I'd probably go for the XL over the two. Which shore shift kit would I recommend for a 96 Boxster S? Okay. Who are my motorsport heroes? Michael Schumacher. Loved him as a kid. My parents met him once and said he was very, very nice. Yeah. I don't know, really. Never thought about that one. It's a good question, though. I'll have to come back to that one. Gabrielle's mentioned about McLaren selling their building. Some of you might not know, but me and McLaren don't get on. I did a video not so long ago saying that I think they're going bankrupt. And then I was told how wrong I was, and a few weeks later they said that if they didn't get a big loan in 3 weeks, they would be bankrupt. And they got a big loan, and now they've just listed their headquarters for sale for 200 million quid, which they then want to lease back off whoever they sell it to. So evidently they still haven't found any magic money trees growing anywhere. What do I think about the Honda Civic Type R EP3? I did a review on one of those. Have I ever driven a VR6 Golf or Vento? What's a Vento? What is a Vento? But no, I haven't. I really want to do an R32 Golf. I might have one of those lined up to do soon. What is my favourite engine configuration? Oh, that's a good one. I do rather have a bit of a thing for a straight six. I do like me a straight six, I have to say. My V12s are lovely, but obviously they're compromised. But I do like me a six. Okay, Simon likes my work and would love to see me do a review of a late model Nissan R35 GTR. Simon, your wish is granted because I have indeed filmed a review of that. When it's going to come out, don't know, possibly late November, but it has been filmed, it has been done, sir, so it will come out. Apex says that some of my style reminds him of the Top Gear Season 6 with Jeremy Clarkson in the Vantage V12. Was that an influence? Not really. Most underrated car that I've driven. Potentially, I want to sort of say the Kia Stinger, because nobody, I know reviewers liked it, but nobody bought it. Lotus Evora, same thing. Reviewers loved it, but nobody actually bought it. Yeah. So, that was a good question there. There was a question there involving Laurie. Will we be doing anything again? Yes, we will be doing some stuff. We did actually do some stuff recently, sort of together. So we weren't appearing in each other's video, but we were helping each other out with some stuff. So yes, we are making plans currently to do something together again. Okay, fun one. How much hard drive space do I have in total? Currently there are 13 backup drives that I've got. 11 of them are 4 terabyte drives, so that's what, 44 terabytes or thereabouts of storage. These two are 12 terabytes each, so I mean in this room in total there's something like just over 100 terabytes now. Yeah, so all right, Matthew's thinking about getting into YouTube, making videos on his 1.1 Citroen C2. Oh, cool cars, C2s. Would I advise a GoPro or just stick to filming on a phone? A lot of people use their phone, actually. My buddy Scott Ratarossa, he does a lot of stuff on phone. Phones are quite good quality. And for starting out, you don't always need to spend the money. So try it without buying extra stuff first. See how you feel. You may or may not like it. Yeah, and good luck to you. Have I ever accidentally deleted a whole car review video? No. No, that hasn't happened. But I have lost a couple of videos thanks to faulty sound equipment. Not this sound equipment. This sound equipment was bought to replace the other thing. So I'm going to be looking into this and see what's happening after this is all done. So sorry again about that. The sound is still being dodgy. Okie dokie. All right. A Accord Type R. I do like those. Best daily driver under £5,000. Ooh, good one. Probably a Golf or something like that. I don't know. Depends what you need, really. Get a Mondeo. Mondeo's quite good. A lot of money. A lot of car for not a lot of money. Any favourite racing games growing up and still playing? Well, obviously, Gran Turismo. A very important car. Formative piece of my motoring life. Gran Turismo introduced me to so many weird and wonderful Japanese cars that I didn't really actually get to see in the flesh for so very long. Yeah. I haven't actually played a Gran Turismo game in donkeys. Probably since 4, maybe? Because then I started playing Forza Motorsport and then Forza Horizon. So I haven't really played a car game seriously for about a year. I played a bit of Forza Horizon last year. When are we going to see me with a TVR? Well, I don't know. Never say never. But I have a lot of other things I probably want to buy first. Will Aston survive? Yes. Any company that's gone bankrupt 7 times and is still alive and kicking can survive. I don't know what they're going to have to do to survive, but they will anyway. Okay. Do I think the Model 911 is still a driver's car? No. Any thoughts on LLF and have I ever met him? Ricky, no, I haven't met him. We have exchanged. I've spoken to him on the phone a couple of times. He's a very hard-working guy. I've seen a few of his videos where he talks about the side behind YouTube, and he and I are very similar in that regard, but not how we make our product, as it were. Other than cars, do I have another passion? I love movies. Been watching Red Cliff today, which is a fantastic film that nobody saw. I did like photography and things. Would like to get back into that a bit more. So yeah. How many? So Callum, I will, when this is done, message me. We will get booked in. It's just you are very far away. How many cars do I film on average? It depends. So usually when it's getting this time of year, it's about 2 tends to be the average. My record is about 7, which I'm not doing that again. And you have to have a lot of things all fall into place to do that many. 3 or 4 in the right conditions can be quite easy to do. If everything's sort of running fairly slick, you start in the morning, you finish when the light runs out, so that's easy to do. So yeah. Can you be, so actually, to answer your question properly, Callum, how far in advance do I film? At the minute, 3 months, 3.5 months, in some cases. Can you be a petrolhead and not follow Motorsport or F1? Yes, absolutely. Of course you can. Not everybody's into cars for the same thing. I know a lot of people that enjoy their car that aren't really what you'd consider into cars. It means different things to different people, but of course you can. Peugeot 106 Rally. Review possible. Review is possible. Review is possible. Is there a material difference in luxury between a 5 and a 7 Series BMW? Yeah, there is. Or at least there was. I mean, my generation of 7 Series is a way different to a 5. Way different. Steve, who's a channel member. Thank you, Steve. I did the channel memberships thing recently. I said I didn't want to make too much of a fanfare about it because I always tend to feel bad about asking people for money. I mean, I know we get people donating in the live chat, which is always greatly appreciated. It helps helps keep the Pepsi Max flowing. I did the members thing. So if you join as a member, there's like 3 different tiers, but I post photos, videos that didn't make it, or different cuts of videos, all sorts of different stuff. So I've been away for a few weeks, and now I'm back. I'm going to be posting some more sort of forgotten or odd stuff up there. You also get more sneak previews about stuff that's happening in the future. So if you do that, you can... There should be a button under all the videos that says like join channel or something. I mean, you can do that. That's why the people that have their name in green, like Steve, and have the logo next to it. That's what that means. Steve wants me to recommend a fun to drive daily classic for country lanes. Peugeot 306. That's what I go for. Do I think that modern hot or hyper hatches are too capable and fast to be truly fun on a daily basis? No, not necessarily, but I can absolutely understand why people do what you've done and go to a sort of more enjoyable, smaller, slightly slower car. Completely understand that. What can I tell you about the new Lotus to be released in 2020, 2021? I can't. I really can't. Neil, should he trade his M140i for the new M135i? No! Don't do it! Most disappointing car I've ever driven, given a reputation. This is another one of these questions. This is another one of these questions that I get asked. M2 Comp was a bit like that, to be fair. Integrale? I mean, that review will be out. I'm looking forward to a second go on that, because obviously, okay. Oh, a couple of bits from David and from Joseph. So I'll answer you guys in a bit. Okay. Thoughts: the Audi TT 3.2 V6. Awful chassis, fun engine. Do I like computers and techie stuff? Yes, I do. What can you expect to pay now for a decent S2000? If I was going to be buying an S2000, I would say like 8 grand is like your minimum, and then going up to sort of 15, 16, I think, and then you can spend more than that, yeah. Okay. Favorite classic Jag pre 2010. Ooh, good one. I did like the old XJ. That's a cool car. Did like that. Have I had any experience with the Mark IV Golf R32? No. Have you ever thought about doing a feature-length road trip movie like on Mighty Car was? I've thought about it, but I won't do it because nobody will watch it. Simple as. You guys will probably watch it because you're very nice people. You support me and help me. You send me money and stuff like that. But it's just the amount of effort and time that goes into it. So when I went to the States a few years ago, I tried to sort of vlog and do stuff going around, and people just didn't watch that. So whenever I travel now, I just kind of film reviews as I sort of do, because that appears to be what people expect from me. So, yeah, unfortunately. Did I ever meet any big celebrities and things when I was filming? No, not really. I met a footballer. That was it. Will I ever do a Skyline review? Yes. Yes. Do I swear a lot? Yes, an awful lot, just not on camera. Do I have any regrets buying my Ferrari? Yes, I should have done it sooner, but I couldn't afford to do it sooner. So, yeah, love that. What do I think about Vipers? Will I review one? I have already reviewed a Viper. 25,000 budget. What modern or classic Lotus am I buying? Gyro Turbo Esprit, of course. Which I think you can still get one of those for that amount of money. Trousers or pants? Well, I'm British, so trousers. Important question from Sparky. Pepsi Max. Have I tried Pepsi Max Ginger? No. It's an abomination. I will not drink the cherry one, the raspberry one, the strawberry one, the anything. Coke, vanilla Coke was weird. Is vanilla Coke back? Because vanilla Coke came back, and I don't know if it's gone away again. But that was weird. Just regular plain Pepsi Max is fine. The only exception I make is I do kind of like ones with a bit of lime in, but then you can do it yourself really easily. So I don't know. So David wants to know what my favourite road to drive in Scotland is. There are so many. I have done parts of the NC500 and it's very beautiful. Other parts of it are simply frustrating. I did the A93 the other week. That was very nice. To be fair, I just like kind of just driving the place. basically any road that I've really enjoyed is probably a road that you've never heard of, which is how I like to keep it, because it means I'm less likely to bother people while I'm filming or attract too much attention. So Joseph wants to know my thoughts on the Amg Gtr. I drove one really briefly once at Millbrook and just on the high-speed bolt, so I didn't really get a proper feel for it. My major takeaways from that experience were two. Number one, it's very fast. I mean, like, really, really quick. Like, you know, was it 570 horsepower or something? And I recall thinking that it felt like it was at least that. Secondly, it was very stiff. Like, really, really firm. Too firm, I felt, for a road car. So, yeah. So, don't worry about it, Sparky. Review Appeal P50. Well, I would, if I could. Most famous person that I've ever met. As we're a bunch of car people, I'm going to say Richard Noble. Yeah, I think so. My dad's met much more famous people than I have, I think. He met Keith Flint and Guy Martin. He's raced with Guy Martin and stuff like that. So, yeah, for me, not so much. Crystal Pepsi. Oh, my word. Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Good one. What kind of car reviews do best on the channel? I keep trying to work this out. I mean, part of me doesn't care, because part of me just wants to, well, the biggest part of me wants to just drive what I like driving. Quirky, weird, and unusual stuff does well for me. Cars that I know nobody else has reviewed, they tend to do quite well. Or forgotten cars, that sort of thing. When I'm looking to review a car, I'll often search on YouTube, see if anyone else has done a video of it. I won't watch the video, but I'd just like to know if it's been done. If it hasn't been done, that's great. That's normally sort of quite promising. Yeah. Which diesel cars are fun or exciting to drive? Not my old Saab, that's for sure. What did I drive recently? Actually, I drove a Volvo XC70 the other day that was diesel. That was quite a laugh. As with the 5-cylinder diesel. So that was quite good. The old BM535D was quite a laugh. Do I wear a watch? No, I don't. Damien will be most disappointed. Is garage storage a must if investing in a modern classic? Good question, and obviously one that I think about quite a bit. I think through the hardest months of winter, depending on where you are, yes. So in my case, for example, the Ferrari is going to go away for a good few months. Probably sort of, I say a good few months actually. The hope is sort of about 2. So December and January, the Ferrari is going to just be safely stowed away somewhere on charge. That's the plan. The rest of the time, I want it here because if it's a nice day, I want to use the damn thing. So yeah. So Thanos says in Doug Demira's review of the new F-Type, he mentions the 911 has gone the luxury way, while the F-Type has stayed as a sports car. Well, the fact is the F-Type is still the same car that it was sort of whenever it was released. What was it, 7 or 8, 9, 10 years ago, whatever. Yeah. Have I ever driven on Snake Pass? Yes, I have. I would never film on there. I will never drive quickly on there. I stay away from Snake Pass, and I stay away from Derbyshire as much as I possibly can, because the police there are not cooperative when it comes to YouTubers. Speaking of the F-Type, do I think the F-Type is too fat to be a sports car? It's sort of a GT sports car blend, really. It hides its weight better than you think it might. As does, to be fair, the new Aston Vantage, which is about 1,700 kilos, which is quite porky. That handles nicely. Same on the 550. Interesting one here from Charlie P. Any thought on tomato ketchup crisps? Actually, I was thinking of having a live stream at some point. Tell me if you'd be interested in this one. I was going to have a live stream where my only criteria was going to be no car questions. One where you can all get to know the real me. Probably end it after 5 minutes, because then you realise I have absolutely very little interesting to say beyond cars. Thoughts on tomato ketchup crisps? They're interesting. They're not my favourite. I remember them being quite tangy, and they're also one of the few crisps where they do really taste like the thing that they're offering to, they're saying. The best crisps, I used to get them if you pop over to Calais. There's a big old supermarket. I can't remember what it is. might be a car for. Anyway, they do these cheeseburger crisps, and they're different flavors. So one tastes like the burger itself, one tastes of cheese, one tastes of pickle. Like they're amazing. They're absolutely fantastic. I got a friend drunk and he ate my entire supply. Yeah. Oh, best classic to buy for 25 grand, but it has to be an automatic. Could you get a 968 in automatic? I think you might have been able to. Tim would love to see me review a Fiat Coupe 20 valve turbo. Lucky for you, Tim. I have actually filmed a 20 valve turbo. Not a plus, it was a regular one, but I have filmed a 20 valve turbo review. It's not released yet, but it will be out at some point. Haven't worked out. Looking at my schedule now. November. It's going to go out in November, I would say, Tim. So there you go. Cody's kid says he enjoyed Aston Week. Would I like to review a Vanquish, either Mark 1 or Mark 2, or am I planning to, more accurately? I have plans to review both. I may even do both at the same time. I did actually have a plan to do the Vanquish Mark 1 a little while ago. I had to postpone that for a couple of different reasons. Some things have been going on here which haven't been very good. So I'm hoping by the end of this year, both Mark 1 and Mark 2 Vanquish reviews would have been on the channel. Spam or ham, says Jake. Ham. Spam is weird. Apparently in Japan it's a really big thing. Like they do go the whole python, spam, 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 egg, and spam. A bit crazy. Thoughts on the Mini GP3? It looks quite wild. They seem quite popular. They're everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Have I driven a Suzuki Swift Sport? Yes, I have driven, I think, the second one. Sorry, I've just been distracted. Florence is climbing into my bin day on Monday, so I've cleaned out the house, and now she's decided to take ownership of it. Okay. So Mia, most famous car that I've driven. I don't know. It's funny actually. So here's a question for you all. So when I did the review of the GTC4 Lusso, I actually spent some time. Both Scott Rattarossa and I filmed with the car at the same time because he helped me out with it. So we sort of did a bit of a deal where he could borrow the car for a review very quickly. He packed a lot in the sort of hour or so that he had the car. Anyway. And he was saying it was amazing because it had the V12 FNE registration plate on it. And I was thinking, actually, there are some registration plates that I guess we know, certainly in Britain anyway, from press cars. Like Porsche have the 911 Hull, which appears on sort of the press car of the day. You'll also get Honda have like CA-HUK, they got a whole bunch of HUK registrations. You've got the Aston Martin have like the 1AML or AML1 or whatever it is that appears on stuff. So there's some famous registrations. So having V12 FNE on the drive was pretty cool. An actual famous car. Have I driven an actual famous car? I don't know. Probably made a car famous. People recognise James's McLaren all the time. Thoughts on Paddy McGuinness? Better comedian than he is car presenter, I would say. Okay. Ferrari Mondial, would I? Well, I'd review it, but I don't think I'd buy it. Where can you get your hands on this amazing shirt? I bought this shirt at the Daytona 500, so that's where I got mine. Okay. Would I try another Saab? Yes, I would. Mine was a 1.9 twin turbo diesel. Best new hot hatch to buy for around 30k. Hyundai i30N. Okay. What would be my choice of a GT for living in Central Europe? F12, DB11, M8 Comp. F12 I do like. It's a bit hyper though for a GT. I'm not sure whether you could feel you could live with it and do big miles in it, although I know people do. So F12 would be my first choice. Do I go to many car meets or events for enjoyment when I'm not filming? Actually, my plan, one of the things I really wanted to do this year was to go to more car events. more car do's, more shows, stuff like that, just to talk to just people about cars. I enjoy doing that. Unfortunately, obviously, that's all been cancelled. That's all been canned, and with new restrictions back in place this week, it looks very unlikely that I'm going to be doing any of that. And it's a shame, because I wanted to take the Ferrari out, and quite honestly, between you and me, I just wanted an excuse to sit next to the Ferrari all day long with a chair, looking at it, and just sort of, you know, taking it in. Which I know makes me a sad and unusual character, but hey-ho, I hope you'll all forgive me. Thoughts on the new MR2? I haven't actually seen any official MR2s pictures, so yeah. Alright. Sparky says there's some lovely roads near him if he ventures to Wales, the Evo Triangle and that, and yes, but they are full of cameras and so on. Yes. Yes, they are, yeah. Spinhalf.co.uk asks me if I have insurance when I review viewers' cars. Yes, I do. I have a very nice insurance policy which covers me up to cars of a certain value, which is currently a six-figure sum that I can extend if need be for certain cars. And no, luckily I'm happy to say that I haven't bent anybody's pride and joy. So yeah. Okay. Reg, yes, we know about the crackling on the sound. We don't know what it is. We're trying to work it out. So yeah. What is the weirdest, quirkiest common car? I don't know. I don't know. Common car. Although I did the other day, and it will be out in, I don't know, the next month or so. I did drive a Renault Aventime. Now that is a quirky car. Okay, Video City, bye-bye. Home audio, headphones with amp or a big stereo. I used to have headphones. I then did, now I have stereos and stuff. So yeah. Please review an E39 M5 series of some sort. Well, Daniel, yesterday I drove an E39 M5 with a supercharger on it. How's that for you? That'll do. Is there a car I absolutely despise in every single way? Not every single way. I do really hate Defenders, especially old ones, and Abarth 595s. Have I ever driven Steve's first car, which was a Reliant Rialto, or any three-wheeler? Steve, I have driven thousands of miles in a Reliant Rialto. I have driven to the Isle of Skye. I have driven to Paris, and I have driven to Berlin in Reliance. So yes, I have done my time in those. Okay. The chat box on this is very annoying because I sort of follow everything, and then one message comes through and it kind of bounces. Okay. Right. What was my favourite car from a TV show? Ooh, that's a good question. Loved Knight Rider as a kid, although the car I was never really that fussed about because it's a bit weird looking. I don't know. Neil thinks new Top Gear is just an hour of bullying Chris Harris. I have seen a few episodes which do, yeah, do make me think like that. Would I give an unmodified Abarth a second chance? I did actually. I did give an unmodified Abarth a second chance when I was up in Scotland a few weeks ago. So that review is going to be coming out. Okay. What do I think of the electrification thing? Are there hope for petrol heads? I hope there is. I really hope there is, because frankly, the amount of people driving, you know, classic cars is really quite small. So the impact is minimal. Hex, welcome. Thank you. Right. When am I planning to come back to the States? I was really hoping it'll be next year. I am hoping that's still the case. That's the plan. That is the plan. Do I rate the Grada V6? Don't know. Haven't driven one. Ranex says greetings from Germany. Hello. Have I met any absolute weirdos reviewing people's cars? Yes. Yes, I have. All right, Michael says, when I when I went to when I did my buying my BMW 130 video. In that video, I went to look at another car, but I didn't ever reveal what the car was. What was it that I looked at? Well, it was a Celica GT4 is what I went to look at. That was advertised by an import specialist company, and they were like, yeah, it's in great condition, it's fabulous. And I went to look at it, and the doors were bubbling away. It was absolutely horrific. Henry wants to know what I thought of the car guy's review of my Ferrari. I enjoyed Damien's review of the Ferrari. I really did. I thought he did a good job. He worked very quickly, actually. I was surprised because he filmed the whole intro segment, which actually he did ask me if I wanted to help with that, and I sort of disappeared off for a bit, and then he'd done it. He was very quick. Yeah, he was very, very quick. So yeah, very impressed with it. I thought it was a pretty decent, honest review. He doesn't mince his words, Damien. He likes the car. I mean, 550 is a good car. So yeah, and I agreed with his sentiments on colour. I mean, I do like the Rosso Corsa cream Bordeaux combo. I think it's lovely. But if I had my choice, that wouldn't actually have been the colour I probably got the car in. But also there is something about having your first Ferrari in red, isn't there, I suppose? So do I think it's a good thing that people like Callum, younger guys, are starting to invest more into classic cars? Yes, it's essential. You have to, because if you don't, nobody else is gonna buy it. Is there a car I really liked as a kid but no longer like anymore? I had a major thing for the Mitsubishi 3000 GT, and I haven't ever driven one, and I'm kind of worried what it'll be like. Yeah. Okay, what car would I like to review but probably will never be able to? Ooh, I don't know, because I've driven a whole bunch of cars. If you'd asked me, I would say, like, yeah, that was never ever going to happen. Stuff like the Venturi Atlantique, because that was one of those cars I wasn't sure they actually made any of. So yeah, yes, the weirdos. Some people are just very quiet. Some people are... I'm not sure there's a particularly polite or politically correct way to put what some of the people are like that have brought cars to me, but suffice it to say, there's a reason I no longer give out my home address to people coming to drive cars. Most of them, 99% of people that bring me cars, are lovely, wonderful, passionate people that are, you know, just helping me out, essentially, do this lovely thing. So, yeah. MotoGP or F1? MotoGP, and yeah, I'm sure we've all seen that near miss that Valentino Rossi and a few others had the other day. That was an incredible crash. I'm so glad, yeah, that didn't go much worse. Okay, what sort of cars did I doodle in my school books? Actually, I doodled in my school books a Lister Storm. Yeah. Okay, what's my favourite hat behind me? I can't choose my favourite hat. I mean, what hats can you see? You can see a few. That one I got at Miami-Dade Speedway. The one above it came from Supra's in Vegas event that I just happened to be attending because I was in Las Vegas at the time. And the one above that's from the Daytona 500, the same place I got this. And above that is a Koenigsegg hat that my girlfriend bought for me because we were in Sweden together, and I saw we were near Ängelholm, and I drove to the Koenigsegg factory hoping that I might be able to get a sneak peek, and they were on holiday, which was upsetting. Hey ho. How long until I run out of cars to review? Do I have a plan for after that? Yes. Like the fourth bridge, I'm just going to carry on again. I'm just going to go start from the beginning again. I'm just gonna review them all again. That's the plan. That's the plan. So, Ranek is watching with his cat. Yeah, my cat is still in the bin. Oh, no, she's out of the bin. Cat update. Florence is out of the bin. Oh, she's making her way over here. No, she's going off to explore behind the shredder. Don't worry, the shredder's not plugged in. Nothing bad is going to happen to the cat. Have I ever driven a 928 or a 959? 928, yes. Somebody previously asked me, is there a car I probably will never ever get to drive? 959 is probably up there. Okay. Someone's Audi TT Mark II has electric seats. He's not been able to find another with that option. Should he keep it or sell it? I wouldn't keep or sell a car based simply on the fact it's got electric seats. If you want to sell the car, mate. Okay. So a series that Hex Graphic I think might do well would be a series for youngsters, on cars that are sort of cheap, but only 80 to 100 horsepower, that sort of stuff. And yeah, I agree. That's why I would. That's why I have done some stuff recently. I did the Kia Picanto, did the A1, and I'm even organising. Don't tell anyone, right? You're not, or I'll kill you. I would. I've even organising getting a Nissan Micra, because I think the new Nissan Micra actually looks quite good. So, do I prefer driving cheaper or expensive cars? Cheaper. Have I done any racing or karting? I've done a little bit of karting. I'm terrible at it. Would I ever get to drive a Ferrari 275 GTB? I don't know. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. What do I think of the Fiat Coupe? Interesting car. Not entirely sold on the looks. Sometimes it looks great. Sometimes it doesn't. Can't remember what I wind up. Wheels look far too small. They look really weird. But a lot of car for the money. They are a lot more money than they used to be. A lot of them are dogs. Do I prefer the feel of turbos or superchargers? Superchargers, definitely, every single time. Does main dealer service history add value to your vehicle? Not necessarily, but good service history. A good service history can add value to a vehicle. Specialist, What are things that I dislike? Blue cheese. People that are a bit indecisive. That sort of thing. Okay. Is there more pressure driving and reviewing expensive cars more so than cheaper ones? To be honest, I've just got to the stage now where I just try not to think about it. I mean, when I did all the stuff with Ben, a lot of those cars I was driving, the Escort, Cosy, stuff like that, very expensive cars, for what they are. To be honest, the only time I get worried, I don't. Expensive cars, really, really expensive cars that I drive, I don't worry about. So I had the GTC4 Lusso from Ferrari, was £332,000, and I was concerned while driving it, for sure. The only cars that genuinely worry me are stuff when I drive a car and say it's like, my granddad bought this car in 1958 and it's the only thing we have left from him. Stuff like that, when people bring me like basically a family heirloom with wheels on it, which is amazing to be given the opportunity, but also that's a huge responsibility, because that is a vehicle that I cannot actually replace. I could buy you another one, but it would be like running over your dog. I can get you another dog, but it's not your dog, is it? It's not the same thing. Yeah. Am I the guy behind the Tax the Rich videos? I wish. No. Have I driven a Hyundai Coupe? No, I haven't. Hyundai i30N, is it better than a Golf in your opinion? It's quite a different car to a Golf. I very much enjoy it. Okay. If I can try an Alpha GTV, do it, I will. Ranik, yes is the answer to that question. Can I do reviews on 1990s Japanese cars? Yes, I can do more reviews. More reviews on those, don't worry everyone. Neil, RS3 or M140i? Ooh, good question. If it's an all year round car, probably RS3. What cars do I currently fantasize about owning? Well, I drove the other day a manual right-hand drive 355 coupe. Yeah. Imagine that driveway, 550, 355, like, or 430 Scuderia. Would like to try a 430 Scud. Would really like to try that. Stig, thanks for watching. Yeah, the GTV V6 Turbo, I have a suspicion, may have been an Italian thing. Was that a 2-litre turbo thing? Because the Italians do that. Because they had the Ferrari 208 and all that sort of stuff. What's my favourite era of cars? That's an easy one. That's the 90s. So, yeah. Do cars in my videos have to be up to a certain standard? You know, for example, with classics. No, no, not really. Yeah. Or if money was no object, what car would I buy first? Carrera GT, obviously. Depending on getting my hands on them, would I like to do some super touring road going counterpart series? Yeah, that'd be cool. Would I ever have a Lancia? Oh, I don't know. I really don't know, because the Integrale was a bit of a disappointment. I mean, I'd love an 037, but that seems somewhat unlikely. Duckman is looking to buy a Porsche 992 base convertible next summer. Are they any good? No. Simple as. Would I consider doing a fan meet type thing? I don't think that I have a odd relationship with the idea of the YouTuber as celebrity type thing. Like, I would feel really super awkward about any event put up like exclusively where the idea was, you know, come and meet JayEmm. That would just be weird. That'd be really weird. But I would definitely, if I was going to an event, I would publish that I was going to said event, and you know, people would be, you know, more than happy to do so. Cornish Rider, keep up at the back. I have reviewed Aventuri Atlantique. I'm the only person in 20 years to have reviewed Aventuri Atlantique in the English language. V8 Vantage, V12 Vantage, or DB9 as a daily? Okay, Martin, interesting one. If you got to do a lot of town driving, DB9 with the auto. If you can enjoy the car and drive it sportily, V8 with the manual. But I wouldn't get the V12. It's just too compromised, too stiff. Okay. Pentagram has had 11 Lanciers and he's still got 2. What 2 do you still have, Pentagram? I'd like to know. Levi wants to know if I can do a BMW 130i review. I will try. How long on average do I keep my cars for? It depends really. A year or 2. Best first classic car? Mark 1 MX-5. Okay, Mr. T wants to know if I want to drive his dad's red 1978 V8 Vantage. Yes, I would love to, if your dad's up for that. Drop me an email about that, because I would desperately want to go on that. Have I ever driven a V8 supercharged Vantage from the mid-late 90s? No, I haven't, although they're pig ugly, but I'd love to have a go at one anyway, because they're a sort of legendary car. What was my first car and did I name it? It was a Peugeot 407 SW Estate. No, I definitely did not name it. Would I like to do a nut and bolt restoration on a car? If so, which one? I don't know. I have something planned along those lines with the 550. So, do I agree with the UK vehicle excise duty bans? More or less. I could complain about them, but honestly, we get a lot better deal than many other places around the world. So, I think we should probably just appreciate what we have. It's pretty good, you know. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I am gonna sort of wrap up there. Ian, no, I haven't driven a VW Phaeton. I really want to, but it's a difficult car to track down. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap up there, guys. Thank you for joining in with the first live stream in a while. I'm hoping to do another one a little bit sort of, you know, sooner than the sort of 2 months it's been since the very last one. But I want to thank everybody for joining in. Thank you very much for your donations and everything. Sorry about the sound being weird. I will investigate that, see what's going on with that one. And yeah, thank you all. You've been amazing as always. I really appreciate your support over the last few months in particular. It's been absolutely amazing. So yeah, thanks for that. See you all. Bye-bye.